minutes on the clock here. Tough defenses. Okay. There's a blind punch. 20 was
Very early, just trying to maybe zone up a little bit. Now we see the ground floor, so he's going to pick up a couple. Enigma bomb cleaves through with 4.
Something they feel a bit stronger on.
Oh, love that one.
Maybe mainly attached to the mercy here.
Oh, he spots him out. Now EMP comes out and that is it. Free kill.
Don't worry about Blur. Blur has replicated the bash, has done it the other way around.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up and welcome to our final match of the Last Man Standing tournament brought to you by Raving Mad Gamers and PC International. Now, when I say final match, I do not mean the grand finals. If you were expecting that, you are 2 days too late, unfortunately. This is the last game we'll be seeing, which is the third place decider match. Before we get into anything too interesting, though, we will introduce ourselves. My name is Soundfix, and I'm joined here for the first time, I think, in a quote-unquote real cast. It is Babs. Welcome.
Oh, hi, thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, excited to see some new faces here in the proverbial booth. I'll see some new faces in game as well, I expect. But yeah, there's going to be Enigma taking on OG. Interesting matchup here. If you guys haven't been following the Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing tournament, this is our third place decider match. Our grand finals were on Friday, where we got to watch an incredible matchup. Randburg Fire Department taking it all the way to a 7-map series, and they did end up coming away with the victory. So they are our champions here for the Last Man Standing tournament. But our third place still needs to be decided. So, looking at these teams, Babs, it is OG and Enigma. What are your thoughts on what we'll see today?
Oh, the teams are two different strategies. OG definitely have more of the mechanical side of things, with players like Zoom and Diablo, Alvin Slayer, but Enigma very good on the strategy side. So it's going to be really fun going in, hopefully an equally matched game.
Yep, fingers crossed, equally matched. I think previous results for these teams, it has been more impressive, I'd have to say, for OG, actually. They, of course, took a 2-3 loss to Randburg Fire Department, the first people to really take any games of them. And then also, yeah, I mean, that was it. That was the most impressive result, and taking that one to the end, I think, really, does that put them ahead in your mind in coming to this, or do you think Enigma still have a lot to give?
Definitely puts them ahead a little in my mind, because, Randburg is probably one of the best teams South Africa's seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't underestimate Enigma. Enigma has a bunch of veterans, and all of them really good players. So it's going to be interesting, I guess, seeing who comes on top.
Yeah, and you mentioned those players, so why don't we take a look at them? Let's start with Enigma. It is going to be Old Faithful here. Blur on that main tank role, very well-known player, both in and out of game. Vertigo, the Queen of Peel, as we call her, on the off-tank role. Selfless and Jelly Doodle. Selfless, a new player here in for Minitech, who is studying his little heart out, trying not to fail. And Fluffy and Zlade will be bringing the supports. Of course, notable absence here of Tox, replaced by Zlade, but I mean, we know Zlade very well, Babs.
Zlade is what I would call probably the best Lucio in ZA Overwatch. So
wow,
I don't
that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement.
I've played a lot with Zlade in pugs and tournaments like Pride Cup, so I wouldn't say it's a far reach with that one.
Okay. And looking at their opponents today, it is going to be OG. Zoom on that main tank, Alvin Slayer on the off tank, Damien and Antiablo on the DPS, Alex and Lulubal on the supports. This is a team with 3 GM players, because congrats to Alvin Slayer. He just got GM, yesterday, this week? I don't know. Yeah. But very recently, he signed his name alongside Zoom and Auntie to make this an even harder hitting team if you could win games using only MMR. So quite a star-studded roster, as it turns out, this OG squad.
OG is definitely something to fear. Zoom, probably the best main tank is in right now. 4.4k main tank player, absolutely cracked. Alvin Slayer, he's just a really amazing player. Damien, very underrated in my opinion. He's probably top 5 flex TVS in the country. On Diablo, do we really even have to say anything about him? His
Yeah,
spacer is just godlike. Alex, I know I've played with OG Alex strategies, and his straight up mechanical skill is sort of disgusting.
yeah.
And Lulu Bell, just amazing support player, probably a really great Mercy as well.
Yeah, Mercy definitely her most iconic hero of the ones we've seen of her. And I will say, I think you look at the squad and Damien stands out as maybe the potential weak link, but you rate him quite highly, it seems like, perhaps.
Yeah, just because he has the lowest SR, to me that means nothing. His mechanics and his game sense is straight up disgusting. I know I've personally been coached by him. I've personally played alongside him. He's an amazing player and an amazing person at that.
Okay, awesome to hear. And then Alex, I think, is a player that is extremely underrated, actually.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
less because of his lack of skill, but more because he's surrounded by some extreme talent. So excited to see. We'll try and keep an eye on him today, I think, because we often don't give our supports enough love. We are just waiting for the lobby to fill up here, guys. One player, Enigma currently has a hard May bot on their squad, and I'm not talking about Minitig here. So we're just waiting for who is missing.
I think
It's Selfless, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So once he joins, we'll be good to go. Our first map, though, will be Oasis, as we can see here. Babs, what are your thoughts on Oasis, and do you think, given all the footage we have of these teams, I think any team is going to prefer to come here first?
So Oasis is really interesting because it has one really good dive map and two really good brawl maps. So on the dive side, I'd say definitely is more on OG's advantage with Elven Slayers, on Diablo's Tracer and Damien's Genji. But on the brawl map, I'm not too sure. I haven't really seen lots of brawl from OG, but I know Enigma really favors their brawl, and Blur is a amazing Reinhardt. So it's going to be interesting at least to see who takes the brawl maps.
Now, on Friday, Babs, not sure how much of that you caught, it really became a clash of the two main tanks and the two kind of roster archetypes working around them. Do you think that's going to be a key here, that main tank difference, Swoon versus Blur? Do you think that's going to be a big part of this? And then who do you think will come out on top between those two players?
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. Main tank probably the most important role in the team, arguably. So the main tank is your spearhead. He leads you in battle. He calls the shot. So it's definitely going to be everyone's going to be counting on their main tank. And looking at the two players, I'd say Zoom has the advantage. I love Blur's really great main tanky strategy, but Zoom is just straight up amazing at the game.
Yeah.
So I think on that side, it's probably going to be preferred to OG.
Yeah, Zoom almost unfairly good at main tank. I feel like, man, what's the point even? But if anyone can take it to him, it is, of course, Blur, a championship level player from 2019 Goliath Gaming, so he knows what it takes to win, to be at the top of the scene. And Zoom, you could maybe, though, say is the best main tank in the country. Do you think that's going a step too far?
No, not at all. To me, that's probably clearly, he's probably clearly the best main tank in the country. His game sense and his mechanics on characters like Winston when it comes to jumping and his blocking reactions on shatters.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. And he's playing on 200 ping, so that's even
yeah. That's the Dragon Ball Z weighted clothing that he's training on. If he gets to 30 ping or 20 ping, he'll be unstoppable, and he's already pretty unstoppable. So that's some scary stuff there. And then you throw Auntie and Alvin Slayer into the mix, and you're like, man, this team is star-studded, this OG squad, and I'm so excited to see how they progress going forward. As I've already mentioned, taking maps of Randburg, the only other team able to do that so far is obviously Beastie Boys. So they really are throwing their name in there for a top 3 squad in the country, and I think after we're done with this match, we'll really be able to say for sure, yes, they are the 3rd best team in the country. But you look and you say, if they'd gone up against Beastie Boys, might they have been in the grand finals, taking it to 7 games? And I think, Babs, there's every chance they could have.
Definitely. Beastie Boys, they probably the best, most mechanically skilled team in the country. Maybe Randburg, but Beastie Boys is known for their mechanics. And this OG team, I think, would have been able to give them a run. Not too sure about winning, but definitely a map 7 or a map 5, depending on the moment.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up. I believe this is a best of 5, so no late nights for us here. Of course, thankfully starting at 8 p.m. this time and not 10 p.m. for our best of 7, which was a disaster. Thankfully, the Lord of Load Shedding has seen fit to bless us with a fairly relaxed load shedding schedule for this Sunday evening. So hopefully no one's going to be disconnecting, of course, except Blur, who we can likely expect to disconnect at the most inopportune moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a Blur exclusive.
Say again, perhaps?
That's definitely a Blur exclusive, connecting right in the team pad.
Yeah, just before your final team fight on King's Row, where you can probably win the game. Yeah, I'll just hop off for a moment here, guys. And like I've said many times before, I've casted enough times with Blur and had to end up solo casting halfway through a team fight. I know exactly what that feels like. We are still waiting for Selfless here, guys, to hop on in. Oasis, our first map, best of 5. Any other information, I think, notwithstanding, should end up being a super exciting match. But of course, anytime you have 2 subs-ins late, we've mentioned no slouch on that main support role, but he's not Tox. And Tox is a leadership figure within this team and a stellar player in his own right, and a player with whom these players will be used to playing with. So that might make a big difference here, perhaps.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look at. You know, the lack of synergy. I'm not sure how much they've practiced together or how much they've worked together, but lack of synergy and lack of that leadership role is very detrimental to a team, especially at this high level where we are right now. So it's going to be, I guess, interesting to see. I'm going to be watching this late a lot. Hopefully he can lead the team, or at least follow the team in the way they play and not try and force his own play styles.
Yeah, so I think if we do see them looking a bit disheveled, that might be a big part of why. On top of the fact that they're lacking the punching power that Minitech brings on that projectile DPS role. Now, we did see Selfless play before. He wasn't unimpressive, but he seems to have a hero pool that overlaps quite a bit with Jelly Doodles in terms of wanting to run the hit scan a bit more. Do you think that's going to be an issue? How important are the projectile DPSs right now in the meta?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Selfless play, but he's definitely no Minitech. You know, as right now, May Echo really strong heroes, so not having someone as explosive and as amazing as Minitech on these heroes, and you know, just be able to flex to his Hanzo comfort pick and just pop off. That's going to be really missed on the side of Enigma. But I guess it's interesting to see. I don't know much about Selfless, so I can't really say much more.
Yeah, no, it's always tough to say. And so, I mean, nobody knows anything about Selfless. He kind of just popped up out of nowhere. It feels like we were ready to cast Enigma versus Beastie Boys, and then suddenly there was a new player in the game. So it's always good to see new players, and that really was a trial by fire. But I think his most impressive performance was on the Junkrat on King's Row, where he really took the fight to Mito of all players, Junkrat v Junkrat, and they ended up taking that map, Enigma. So when they're comfortable, when they have a map they know well and they can work around, they can perform extremely well. But this Enigma squad for me, Babs, kind of can be a little bit inconsistent sometimes, I think.
Yeah, definitely inconsistent. Like a lot of the times they shoot above where they were expected, and a lot of times shoot below where they were expected to hit. So it's gonna be, I guess, fun to watch to see if they can keep their high form, or are they gonna drop like earlier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's important to note as well, third place decider here. No money on the line. Only the top 2 got cash, 4K prize pool here, sponsored by PC International. But definitely pride on the line here, which I think goes without saying. And if we're looking at these 2 squads, Babs, can you give me a prediction, your best prediction for what the map score is going to be?
Best prediction. Okay. So, you know, I want it to be a 3-2, but I'm thinking it's gonna go 3-1 to OG here.
Okay, so you're throwing your eggs in the OG basket.
Yeah, I'm throwing all my eggs in the OG basket.
Hedging a bit, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say a swift 3-0 from OG, because I think they're stellar right now. This team is the new hotness for me. I think Team Gaming as well is a team that I'm like is really up and coming, and that result against Beastie Boys kind of solidified that. But OG for me is like Team Gaming, except instead of fighting for coming into the kind of top 4, they're fighting for that P1, you know, the top of the log. And I think especially then with Alvin Slayer riding high after making GM and joining the likes of Zoom and Diablo, and the fact that Enigma was playing with 2 substitutes makes me feel like I would be throwing money away if I didn't bet on OG here.
Yeah, I agree on the bit, but I'm not sure about the 3-0. You know, like Zlade, while he's maybe not, I guess, accustomed to this team, he's really an amazing player. And
Mm.
Blur was pretty hyped on Selfless, so I guess it's going to be interesting to see that.
Mm. Yeah, we will have to wait and see. We're still waiting here, guys. We're still waiting for Selfless to join the fray here. Not used to this, the promptness with which we look to start these matches. Unfortunately, although I'm sure he's got a good excuse for not being around, maybe experiencing some internet issues or anything along those lines. But let's take a look back a little bit here, Babs, throughout the tournament. You, of course, part of the Pangolins roster. How did your group stage go, and how do you feel coming out of it?
So we played 3 of the top 4 teams. Yeah,
Let's
Team Gaming,
talk about the
Beastie Boys, and Red
some nice things about the format, where two sort of mid to low table teams faced the 3 top teams and one other team. That was fun. But anyways, what do you say?
It was kind of, it was fun, but it wasn't really disheartening. You know, I've played a
Okay.
lot against of the top teams. I'm not sure I can speak for my teammates, but for me, it felt like any other day in Zero Overwatch. You know, so it was actually fun. You know, playing with a new team, being streamed for the first time with a new team. It was really fun.
Yeah, we watched your game versus Ria's Legion, hey, which I think you took 3-0.
Yeah, we 3-0.
3-1.
Just 3-0, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, G-Spap. No, that was a fun game to watch. A weird one, actually, because I felt like Ria's looked good, but they just couldn't, string together enough team fights to win a map. So it wasn't the scoreline.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt this way, but it wasn't really like super one-sided.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot harder than I thought it would be. It was. I expected it to be easy, you know, in bed by 9 kind of game, but they played really well, and I guess we underestimated them a lot.
Yeah, awesome. And then looking throughout, of course, the big standout match was, of course, Beastie Boys and Team Gaming. What are your thoughts on Team Gaming then going forward? As we know, we kind of have a fairly solid top 4 in the 4 teams that have made these 2 matches: OG, Enigma, Beastie Boys, and then obviously Randburg. Do you think Team Gaming are on that level and they can push through, or do you think there's a lot of work that still needs to be done for them?
I wouldn't say they're on that level yet, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of work either. They're really close to breaking into that top 4 spot, and honestly, I kind of expect them to do that by the next time we have a tournament. Team Gaming is honestly a lot better than people, I guess, in the community think. I know the analysts in the community rate them high. People kind of underestimate them. You know, Bubbles is a really good main tank. I know he clowns a lot, but people really underestimate how good he is. And Nick and their DPS overall is just an amazing team. So I think the top 4 teams need to be scared, at least concerned with how fast Team Gaming is growing. They've only been together for like 3-4 months now, and they're already this good. So I'm really interested to see how far they go when they get actual practice in.
Well, we have some development here, Baz. I was expecting. Fox and Sox looks to be making an appearance here, but that does leave them with 1 DPS less. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think Zlade, I don't think projectile DPS.
Yeah, this is a bit concerning for Enigma. Tox, you know, he's known for his main support role. I'm not sure how good he is on DPS, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of scared right now. I wanted a close game, but this doesn't look like it's going to be.
Well, whenever you think of that DPS Mercy, you kind of think of Tox, right? So he's used to having the GAT out, and that is technically a projectile gun, that sort of bunny blaster that she has.
I mean, yeah.
And that pushes Lay to the off-tank. Now, one thing I always struggled with was making calls and decision-making from the DPS slot. Now, you are, of course, a DPS player, Babs. Do you think that's going to affect things here, assuming he does play that flex DPS role?
Yeah, it's terrible. Making calls from a DPS slot is disgusting, and it's terrible. No team should have to go through that. You really can't see much as a DPS, especially if you have to take off angles, or you have to be, you know, taking those 1v1. So you don't know much of what's going on, at least as much as other players in your team have.
Yeah.
So making a shot call at DPS there is going to be a bit of a yikes for me.
Yeah, it's really tough. And it looks like he is, unless
oh no,
they just haven't switched the slots here, because And that fills me with a great deal of trepidation, let's say, because no disrespect to Tox, but if surely he doesn't hold a candle to Miniteg or even Selfless here. And then you've got Slade coming in and losing that decision-making power from Tox. Now, obviously, you've got Blur on the team, who is a very vocal player and quite a strong leader as well. So they're not losing out completely, but it still seems like a strange choice to me.
Yeah, so on the side of leadership, Blur is really good on that, so I'm not too concerned when it comes to that, but having, I guess, Tox fill in the DPS slot is very scary for Enigma. I've seen him play DPS in pugs, but that's just fun and games. I've never seen him play DPS on a straight up, I guess,
Yeah,
competitive
at
game.
this level. Oh, we've lost a different player now. Otis decided he will not bear witness to this affront on his sensibilities. Maybe he's decided to even things up, and maybe they'll bring in like Authorize or someone to come and play DPS here for OG to make it an even game. Because that's the other side of it, right? You look at Jail Doodle, right? A very accomplished hit scan player. Stick him on the Widow, he's going to get work done, and especially against Beastie Boys, he looked like a pretty key player for Enigma to have to sort of prop up, not prop up, that doesn't quite say what I mean, but kind of pull resources in and allow him to kind of win them team fights. And then you look on the other side, Damien and Diablo. I mean, anytime you're putting someone who's not a full-time DPS player up against Diablo, you've got to be feeling pretty bad about the situation.
Yeah, so OG's DPS are really, really good. So having someone like Tox, no offense to Tox. Tox is an amazing player,
no offense.
But I'm not sure how he's on DPS. So having someone that's not a star level DPS player go against them, this is going to be really concerning.
Well, we do finally have a map here, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see it for yourself with your own eyes. Toxin Socks next to Jelly Doodle there in the DPS slot. So please send him your energy, because I have a sneaking feeling he's going to be needing a lot of love here after this one.
This is going to be interesting to say the least. I want to see what kind of compositions they come up. I'm not sure if they practice a lot with Tox and DPS.
Well, what do you think the answer to that question is? Do they practice a lot of Tox in DPS?
I mean, I don't want to say no, because I don't know the team situation. You gotta be optimistic with him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, let's stop putting Tox down and say he's an underrated DPS player. Let's put it that way. Exactly. He's gonna come out on the Sombra. What a hero. Talk to me about these positions.
Okay, so we have a standard dive for OG. Alvin Slayer on the Wrecking Ball, Zoom on the Winston. The Symmetra probably just a TP out of spawn, and we're probably looking to switch to an Echo or Genji on the side of Damien. Basic standard dive is going to be really good for OG, as it's like their comfort comp. Enigma going with a Brawl-esque comp with the Sombra Soldier. I've never seen something like this. It's very concerning.
Concerning. Well, we'll see how concerning it is after the first team fight. Perhaps here's Auntie working his way around the left-hand side here. Just gonna poke a little bit here. Just make it Team Enigma aware he is a threat that needs to be dealt with as Blur starts to move forward. Now Tox here on the Sombra looking for an hack. Can't find anything just yet. Need to be aware of the Echo in the sky here. She rains down damage from above. Immortality Field comes out, keeping the pressure off the squad here. A chaotic team fight to start things off, but neither team able to get that first pick to open the ledger here. Say that the Auntie tracks down and the floodgates open. OG get another quick 2, make that 3 picks here to clean up the 2 fights. Laid, the last man standing, will get some face-to-face action there on Damien, but that's not going to help Enigma win this team fight.
Yeah, so that you could definitely see the dive comp taking preference with being able to take side angles and be able to harass the enemy team from all sides. So I definitely a composition difference right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Sombra's a strange hero to stick someone on. That's a good ultimate, the pulse bomb, but the immortality field won't keep the team alive. Great work from Fluffy, helping his team escape that one unscathed, but these people won't escape unscathed unless Blur gets in there. Dodging cars, what is this? Had his Nikes on to step in and out of traffic there, did Swoop, and he manages to escape with his life, and Enigma once again on the back foot, but coming to this one with quite a few ultis.
Yeah, we've been singing his praises throughout the entire intro. Zoom, he's just showing us how great of a main tank player he is right now, and he's making it hurt for Enigma. Enigma coming up with a Shadow, Beat, and Lamp, so this might be a little easier for them. Maybe they can win the team fight if Blur can get a fast shadow as the dive comes in.
It'll be tough though. OG's positioning has been pretty stellar throughout this tournament and not really likely to give him a huge opening. The duplicate is available as well, so he needs to be careful not to let his team. This could be the opening though. He gets the shadow down onto the duplicated Reinhardt there. They get the kill onto Alex elsewhere as well, so good work from our red squad here. Damien gonna get deduplicated. There is Auntie takes avoiding action against Jellydoodle's trusty tack visor. Jellydoodle picks his third one off here in this team fight, and once again the hit scan DPS player comes to the rescue for Team Enigma.
Yeah, that was a good fight win for OG actually. I mean, I fight lost.
Lovely.
Enigma used every ult they had. They coming up in the molten core, but that's not going to do much against the dive except to stay them off for a few seconds. So they won the fight, but they spent a lot to get there.
Now this is the hero you pick when you don't have good aim, but you have to play DPS, right? Let's go to the aiming and you close your eyes and hold on right click until something dies. Zoom, which will die first here. Auntie gonna trade it out though, gets rid of Tox on that Torbjorn. No molten core this fight. Zoom back in the fight now, so full complement of players here for OG and they can start to get aggressive. Jellydoodle dropping low as the power driver comes in.
Solo shadow on Zoom.
Slayer, solo shadow on Zoom, and they do get that kill. That could be critical for this team fight, and now they can start to clean things up. Enigma somehow, some way holding firm here on this point, but with Blur dropping, that might open the floodgates and allow OG to push through. The kill by proxy there with the minefield. Now goes aggressive, does Alvin Slayer. Molten Core finally comes out here for Toxin Socks as Alvin Slayer looks to make himself very difficult to deal with, flying through the team as Tox tries to get rid of the Tracer. He is left clicking here, at least that's good to see, as he gets pressured down here. Zoom tracks him down, gets rid of him, and so many kills. All of a sudden, OG in control of this team fight, but a very nice percentage worked up from Enigma. Who's Slate? Somebody killed Slate! He's very capable on this hero, and eventually Zoom will Tesla cannon him to his demise.
That went a lot better than I expected it for Enigma. They got up 77% with that. That's
Yeah.
OG is coming up on a lot of ults though, so I'm not sure.
Gonna have to wait and see here. Duplicate at the ready for Damien. He goes immediately onto the Reinhardt. Attack visor popped here for Jellydoodle. Tracks down Blue Bar and gets rid of the Mercy. No resurrection available now, but they're losing players left, right, and center. And he's got an angry monkey all up in his business here. Has to dodge the mines from Alvin Slayer as well. He's under a lot of pressure, but weathering it well so far. The beat comes out on the other side from Zlade. So Enigma with a lot of HP to work with if they can just find the kills. Damien trying to find the kill. They do eventually track down Jellydoodle. That is a dead soldier. Auntie finds Fluffy as well, so the healing now limited as the bulk comes out from Lulu Bao. Just needs to keep the team healthy. The beat kills coming out of this one, I suspect. Low HP into the beat, a good shadow, not gonna find anything as Tox, the last to fall here on the Reaper, struggling to find a hero that fits in with this team. And OG, not quite the dominant performance I might have expected.
Yeah, definitely Enigma fought well there, especially considering the situation with Tox and DPS. But I still feel like, I guess the composition difference was just a little too much to fight for.
Yeah, it seems that way. Wait, am I unmuted or muted? I am unmuted. Excellent. It just seemed like they were struggling there, but you can really see the difference that Tox not being comfortable on the role makes. Not in terms of how he was performing necessarily, but the fact that I imagine his hero pool is fairly limited as a DPS, and so they're trying to find, on the Venn diagram of things that Tox can play and things that work in their lineup, they really have quite a thin strip of heroes they can choose.
Yeah, but this is a really good favorite brawl map and dive map, so this might be a lot closer for Enigma, and maybe they might be able to take it. And they cannot understand the brawl composition, May, McCree, and OG on double bubble actually, so no ball for Alvin. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, no ball. He wants to track people down, give us a taste of his ability to track on that Zarya now. Low HP in the back there. Alex needs to watch himself after getting taken down is Fluffy instead on the other side. No mercy for either squad, so no resurrections at the ready as Vertigo tries to keep her team healthy, but Alvin Slayer tracking down, gets a triple there if you include the mech. Tox gonna drop as well, and OG looking pretty good on this first point.
I actually expected that to go much different. I thought Enigma would be able to stave off the dive from OG and stand their ground in the high ground, but it seems like I guess Zoom and Damien's combination was a little too much for the supports to handle.
Does seem that way, at least so far, as Auntie almost up towards that pulse bomb. 78% now, ready to go. Immediately finds the shot, headshot, takes out Auntie.
Big anti.
So won't find anything. Anti-heal over the top
my
from
God.
Alex. Immediately compromised or capitalized on by Damien and Zoom as they look to clean things up. Auntie on his way back to the fight now. That anti-heal not going to find anything as Alex tries to keep Zoom alive, but Zoom does not need his assistance and will instead clean up the Enigma squad.
If you're gonna put in an anti like that, you're basically begging Zoom and Damien to follow up. That was absolutely disgusting from the Ana play on the side of OG. Totally expected from him.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke about Alex as an underrated player. We said we'd like to keep an eye on him, and we spotted it out. A great anti-heal sets up things for Zoom and Damien, and they will really take advantage of that, as you say. Speaking of which, they will now just get aggressive here. Pulse Bomb comes out, baits attack, or the Immortality Field out, and puts a lot of damage in. Shadow on the front line, not sure what that finds as Damien looks for his ulti and gets taken out with it. Kills going in both directions here, but so far favoring Enigma as the High Noon comes out, dropping low, but Fluffy has his
Oh my god.
but it's not enough to keep him alive against the onslaught of the mighty Diablo. Fluffy just trying to get up here, keep his team alive. Vertigo will go down before she can remake, and it's looking dire here for Enigma on this point. University, or whatever this point is called, Gardens, likely to go the OG way here. Only 8% left to cap. It's Trickle City here as May comes in here. This is more annoyance than tactical, you'd have to say, as Tox will end up dropping swiftly after. Vertigo back in the mix now. Graviton Surge comes out in celebration, I suspect, as just cleaning up this diva should secure things for OG, and it will do so. Yes, they take this map 2-0. Dominant, but not so dominant that Enigma looks like they can't do anything.
Yeah, the last and final fight I expected to go much different. You know, Damien ended up duping the McCree by mistake, and he got picked up really early in that fight. But I guess the dive from Diablo and Zoom was just a little too much to handle, and then Alvin Slayer and Lulubel's break just holding their ground and just defending themselves from getting picked up from the side and
Yeah,
buying time for Damien to return.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff here from OG. Looking at Enigma and you're thinking, what do we need to do here, Babs?
Yeah, I'm not sure because theoretically Brawl should counter dive, you know, but the way OG is playing right now, it feels like they're playing against a bunch of kids when it comes to their dives. So this is gonna be hard for Enigma. I'm not sure what they'd be able to do.
It's tough when you're playing these off rolls as well, right?
Definitely,
If Minitig was in the mix here, you might have a set of plans that
for sure.
you can execute on. Like, oh, this didn't work, we can do this better, or we can switch it up and try this instead.
Even
But
just
we're also, sorry, go for it.
Even just adding his Hanzo into the mix there, you know, being able to burn down the Winston easily with the storm arrows and getting picks off in the backline, it would have been so much better. I guess having someone that's not accustomed to the role is really bad for them.
Yeah, no, extremely challenging to see any standout players from that first match. Of course, we spent a little time looking at Alex there with that big anti-heal, but onto Zoom, Alvin all stood out as well.
Yeah, definitely. Zoom just showing his prowess in the Winston there. His primals, every primal he had got at least 2 kills, and that's something, you know, that's something to say, especially for an ability that's not focused solely on damage. So Zoom really showing up as much as we've been hyping him.
Yeah, as per usual, you know, it's one of those things where every time we have to pick a player of the match, it's always going to be Zoom or Auntie, and they kind of outshine the rest of their players on their team, not because the rest of their players are particularly weak, but just because they are extremely dominant on their roles, and especially as a pair, Zoom and Auntie really are unstoppable.
I know, the Zoom and Auntie pair is disgusting. And whenever you sign up for, I guess, Pride Cup or Challenge Cup, you gotta be praying you got them on your team. Playing against them, playing against that Winston Tracer combination is absolutely it's the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah, it is a bit of a nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, imagine living in this hellhole. It's probably so hot and makes you want to die. It is Junkertown. That will be our next map. Now, we saw Beastie Boys and Enigma take this on second as well in their series last week in the semifinals. And this one was where Jelly Doodle really stood out. Very
Yeah,
impressive performance from him.
A really great double sniper map. So having that godlike hit scan performance from Jelly Doodle is really a big advantage for Enigma.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how good Diablo's Widow is.
Well, we are about to find out here. I imagine it's probably as good as any of his other heroes, with the exception of his Tracer, which is probably a step above the rest. Damien on the Hanzo, we've seen him play this hero quite a bit, so he's very comfortable here. Tok's going to be on the Hanzo. Hanzo, a hero that even a lot of non-DPS players feel comfortable on.
Yeah, definitely.
The margin for error is quite high.
As a Hanzo player, I can tell you it's just point and shoot.
Exactly.
As long as you have the mechanical skill, you can be at least mid to high tier Hanzo.
Mm-hmm.
Just
you can get stuff done at least.
Yeah.
As far as flex supports go, when Tox was playing flex support, he was quite an aggressive player, and he's got the aim, he's got the skill, but there's a lot that goes into being a DPS player that isn't just clicking heads and onto. You're gonna look for a head click here as he goes over the top. Blur and Vertigo on the dive tanks. We should see how this one plays out. Just quickly, based off the compositions, who you favoring? Never mind, Babs, things are happening. Blur jumping right on into the front line there. Just gonna poke in, take a bit of damage, put some damage out, and just try and get out. Oh, this is risky. I think he's stuck. Oh, that was close. Just barely manages to get out here so far. Neither team able to find any picks. It's Jelly Doodle instead going to be playing the Reaper here. Not gonna try and match, and there we go. Gets from the back, finds that pick, but they lose Fluffy in the meantime. As there goes Jelly Doodle as well, getting aggressive on the Reaper, will be taken down. A nice headshot from Diablo onto Blur, and I help Zoom secure that kill. So a decent card push here from Enigma. That's all it's going to be for now.
Yeah, so Enigma playing a composition known as Droll. It's a dive Droll hybrid. It was really popular towards December last year, I think. And it's a really strong composition if you play it right.
Speaking of strong, Primal Rage here on Blur, trying to knock a couple of players off the map. He saw an opportunity and he went for it, but now looking back, looks like a bit of a misplay, I think, as he tries to get out here. He's got another hop. He will get over, but that's a Primal Rage that doesn't net his team any advantage.
Yeah, definitely a waste on Blur's side there, especially now that Zoom is coming up and he's Primal, and we've seen how deadly he can be with that ability.
Oh, he's got an opportunity here. Jelly Doodle is taking a nap here just around the corner. Zoom gonna get aggressive here, but the monkey has to turn back and take care of Blur from behind. Now can move forward, has the Primal Rage at the ready, won't need it just yet as the mana boost comes down from Alex. Can just put the pressure on, drops low, will pop the ultimate now. Primal Rage gonna try and make some space for his team and put the damage in. Tox has tracked down Diablo though, so this is not looking good for OG, at least in terms of the direction the picks are going. Vertigo gonna throw self-destruct in now as well. Not gonna find anything. Looks pretty good, but unfortunately for them, not finding anything.
Oh my god, Damien!
Damien with a double kill. He doesn't need any friends because he's just gonna take down both DPS by himself. Albert gets rid of Blur, and this is a duel in which you would rather be the Zarya, but you'd rather be Vertigo when she has the support of her teammates, which she does here. Damien now all by his lonesome, but is being rejoined swiftly by his squad. Alex was not dealt with and has been healing up his team steadily.
Oh my god.
Just gonna ulti here. Surely you just throw it out here. Risky doesn't go down and now has the Death Blossom at the ready as Enigma work their way through this first point. Blur gets aggressive there, but now the respawns are coming in. Rally at the ready. A shot from Auntie to get rid of one. Blur dropping low. Not taken down just yet, but he is fighting into a big, and Auntie is popping off elsewhere as he takes down Zlade as well. And that is going to be it likely here for Enigma, at least for the time being.
Yeah, the biggest problem there, no one shut down on Diablo on that Widowmaker. So he just had complete free reign throughout the entire stall, throughout the entire fight. And he just got pick after pick, finally leading to OG taking it.
Yeah, of course, Tox did manage to track him down near the beginning and get rid of him. So well played from Tox. And The Sombra pick is a unique one, and we have a compositional switch here. Zoom has moved onto the Reinhardt here, gonna go for a more brawly style with the pick DPS. Works well with Alvin Slayer, of course, the Ryan Zarya, so let's see if they can manage to leverage that into some team fight wins. And speaking of team fights, one unfolding right now as Blur gets aggressive, lots of kills going the way of Enigma, though this is a really good start for them. In fact, I don't see a way in which OG comes back. Zoom gets slapped back, Damien finds the pick but is immediately taken out, and Enigma secure the first point.
Yeah, definitely. In the beginning of that fight, you actually saw Slade ready Lucio to the backline and pick up the Widow, and that just, I guess, left to as an overall win fight for the side of Enigma.
No, Slade has that Wallace energy. But, you know, he's like, I'm gonna just win this game by I know the play that needs to happen, and I'm gonna make it happen. As Enigma really gonna have to rely on some real step-up performances here from the players, given their relative lack of experience coming out from Tox on the DPS role. Damien coming for the flank here with the rest of the squad. Might just have to throw that down. Oh, lots of ultis coming out here. Death Boss and Graviton Surge, but the Hanzo arrows are gonna be what takes down Jelly Doodle. The Graviton Surge on the front line as well. OG weathering the storm there and turning a difficult team fight into a victory.
Damien just showing fight and fight after fight, just how good he is on that Hunter pick, getting 2 picks and still getting another pick with his Dragon Strike there.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. Of course, comboed up with the Graviton Surge, quite a well-known combo. Room gonna drop earlier, that could be a huge problem as Tox tracks down Damon as well. So 2 heavy hitters for the squad out of the fight now. OG look to beat a hasty retreat here. I don't think, okay, yeah, just gonna get out. Auntie will drop late, but that's a very, very nice teamfight win for Enigma.
Yeah, Zoom overextending and Enigma doing amazing, just capitalizing on the main tank's mistakes there. And just taking the advantages as they come. Very good on the side of the, I guess, proactivity on Enigma.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, self-destruct gonna go in there, but you can cover that whole room with the shield and now can come out. Oh, that's a lot of damage coming in from the cooldown. Unlucky not to get a kill there. Let's go, but Jelly Doodle will follow up and get rid of Zoom now. Propaganda is useless here, and so are your spells and heroes, and that was a beautifully executed team fight from Enigma.
Amazing second point push from Enigma. They lost the first fight, but after that they just kept the momentum going. That cooldown from Vertigo took Zoom's health by half, so he was picked off by the rest of the players in the side of Enigma, and just it was history from there.
Feels like players are still getting used to that
Definitely.
damage, right? Because a lot of times you see people getting up close and personal with a baby diva and then getting their head knocked in. Oh, OG gonna get aggressive here though. Coalescence comes out from Fluffy. High noon though! Get out of here! I'm busy with other things, says Ontiablo as he gets rid of the calling, the coalescencing. Moira, oh, Blur dropped low, taking a nap, taken down here by the whip shot, and now OG can look to clean up the rest of the Enigma players. The momentum not going to get too out of hand, at least not as far as OG is concerned, and they're going to stop Enigma from pushing any further.
Yeah, but a really good push. They pushed it really far past the main choke point and onto the second choke point, so Enigma will be happy with that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Tox almost or sort of halfway up to another Sombra ultimate here. The EMP was a critical part of them forcing the cap on that last point, and really is a critical part of any team in which you're relying on a Sombra.
Yeah, but Damien just time and time again picking off Tox in the Sombra. I'm not sure if it's Tox overextending or Damien has wall hacks. It's probably not the latter, but from the way he's playing, it seems like that.
Seems unlikely that he's just got wall hacks installed here. Hunter ultimate here at already hacked up now.
Oh, the sleep!
He doesn't look to go for the headshot, instead tries to get a bit of a strange angle. Now can combo though, the Graviton counts out by the beat as you say, and now the Death Blossom comes forward from the Reaper. They've lost a few on the front line here, including Zoom, so OG looking to back up here and not lose too much more, but Enigma, excellence of execution it seems.
Yeah, definitely Zoom falling first there again, which is becoming a trend in these fights where Enigma takes a win. They're just Enigma doing really well to capitalize on picking up that main tank player on the side of OG, and it's going great for them.
Yeah, absolutely is. As they come forward now, OG look to close things out. Get rid of Jelly Doodle here, but they don't manage to do so. Good healing coming up from the other side. Doesn't seem to hit much.
Oh my god.
With the flanking angle, the High Noon takes down a couple. He gets a third, cleaning up on behalf of his squad, a 4K to end it all, and OG holds firm on third point.
Anti-Diablo really coming in clutch with that Deadeye. Blur actually shattered the Brigitte on the side of the OG, but no one was able to capitalize with it because Anti-Diablo just, I guess he pressed Q and 2 players fell.
As far as ultimates go, one of the harder ones to actually get kills with is that high noon. So often you just pop it and die, but if he's far enough away, there's nobody really on Enigma who can punish him with the composition they were running.
Unless you have Tox hack him out on the side, everyone's just gonna either have to play sidelines or accept their death.
Yeah, or kind of rely on Vertigo's Diva as well to equal the damage. So looking at how we saw that, interesting to see Enigma not opt to put Jelly Drill on that hit scan. Why do you think that is?
Right now you can definitely see they're playing more of a draw. So without that Reaper, there's very little damage. But it does have high pick potential, but that's very inconsistent. So if your Widow isn't popping off, then pick becomes essentially useless. So I guess Enigma opting for the safer composition.
And I imagine if they'd been able to stick Tox on the Hanzo, or they were more comfortable with that, they might have felt more comfortable matching OG with the Hanzo Widow. Definitely.
Having like a second DPS that can do a lot of damage means the Widow, you can actually take the risk without having it be too much of a risk, if that makes sense.
Makes sense here, as Enigma once again opt to run this dive. You suggested you might see more brawl out of Enigma, but so far they felt pretty comfortable on the dive, it seems, as now with an aggressive post up here. And then
big start.
Down, Lulu Ball follows up. Vertigo may get demeked here, but Enigma have held firm here right outside the doors. Auntie goes down actually. Vertigo finds that kill, so good work from Enigma to buy some time here on this first point.
I love the spawn camp. It's basically the most perfect high risk move you can do in Overwatch, because if you do lose the fight, you lose the first choke point, and you still have 2 more fights, maybe 3 if you're lucky, to recontest.
Ooh, that's a bad start. Telugu does get taken down there by Damien with a sweet headshot onto the Reaper's Blur. Looks to just put the pressure here. Both main tanks, in fact, the Winstons, just poking down the teams on the front line, and that's going to lead to some very early Primal Rages, and that is reflected in the ultimates here. It's both now ready with Primal Rage. It's Primal Rage versus Primal Rage. This is the kind of team where nothing happens unless Auntie pops off, and he does just that with a double kill. Or Damien rather, gonna take down Blur as well, even through the Primal Rage. So Enigma buying a team fight or 2 there, but eventually OG punched their way through.
If you're Enigma, you're actually really happy with that. You held for what, 1 minute 15 seconds, and all you used was Primal Rage. That went really well for them. I don't think they expected to full hold there, but it did what they needed it to do.
No, nobody expects to full hold outside the door there unless you are in a horrible skill mismatch. Coming into this next one though, quite a few ultis for both teams, and you mentioned that it only took the Primal Rage from Enigma, but it only took the Primal Rage to get out.
Big hack.
The hack comes out onto Diablo there, almost taken down. Late did throw in his ultimate, so that's been quite an expensive team fight, but of course they've got the EMP to win the next one. As long as they can execute effectively now, they're moving forward just to clean up all these players, get out of here, get back in spawn, and they could even just post up here again, but no, looks like they're gonna back out.
Tox really showing that, I guess, high-level player mindset. He doesn't need the mechanics to play DPS to have the mindset. Being on the flank, watching out for the Deadeye and hacking it out. Causing them to get actually 2 picks. They got the Ana and they got the McCree with that one hack. So really good, well played from Tox.
Oh, self-destruct here, coming in over the top.
Oh my god, the EMP bomb.
So the combination for the 4K here. Vertigo gonna grab the spoils, but Enigma showing their strength here, even a player or 2 down.
Tox really showing up in that Sombra on this defense. Like his EMP setup, his hacks have been amazing. Not what you expected considering he's a main support player, so this is really well played from Tox.
Only downside is they've committed a lot of ultis into the last 2 team fights and not gotten much back by way of ultimate charge, and they haven't pulled much out of OG either, coming into this next one with almost 5 ultis.
Oh, big eat!
Have eaten here by Vertigo. Perfect play from the defense matrix. Diva there as Zoom gets aggressive with the Primal Rage, just forcing them back, splitting them up. Blur gonna do the same here in OG's backline, trying to identify some targets, and he finds the one he's looking for. Alex taking the Blur, or rather putting Blur to sleep there, as Vertigo looks to just stall out a bit more. So does Tox. It's just going to be a matter of cleanup, and OG will push through this choke.
Enigma definitely looking better and more comfortable. Jerry
Yeah.
gonna get hit here.
Ooh, Reaper going to get aggressive here.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just reset it, I
That was
guess.
a bit of a mistake there, I think. But yeah,
Like, you need to go in there, though.
yeah, Enigma definitely looking more comfortable and playing a lot better than the first map and even the first round of this map.
Ooh, High Noon comes out. Vertigo gonna get aggressive straight away. Ooh, not actually gonna
Huge plays from
take it out there. Damage coming through now, and this is the real damage. They need to watch this man. No defense
EMP.
matrix on the side. The EMPs come out, and now Jelly can get aggressive.
Oh,
He's gonna pop his ulti here and clean up OG. This is the last team fight. If they don't win this, they lose the map, and the series is evened up. It's just Zoom left fighting into Reaper, but Alex is back. He's got a kill. He's DMAC the Diva, and Zoom is on the point, but he gets taken down. Auntie coming back in on the Tracer now on the point. I haven't spotted him out. If he can get rid of Diva, that'll be a good way to start.
Big hack on the ball.
Hack onto the ball, as you say, gonna look to make sure that obviously I can't get any value out of that pesky Storo hero, but who's back in the mix here? It's Damien on the Doomfist. Gonna find anything there as Room looks to rejoin on the Reinhardt. The good stall here from OG, but it's not gonna be enough, and Enigma will even up the series.
Enigma really proving us wrong and showing up, especially with having Tox in the DPS. The overall team play from the first map just improved by a ton, and you can see that clearly from the wombo combo we're about to see.
Oh yes, lovely stuff here. EMP bomb, one of the classic EMP combos, and executed perfectly there, picking up 4 players. So Enigma, I mean, this is a shock to me. Of course, I did predict a 3-0 here for OG, but this is very impressive stuff.
Enigma looking really strong on that dive brawl hybrid and just taking the fight to OG. You know, OG known for their dive play, and Enigma just showing them that they can do it better right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at OG here and you're thinking, man, we should probably have dominated this, right? We have all our players on their most comfortable roles. We've got strong mechanics and good team fight with well drilled. What went wrong for them on Junkertown?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Just Enigma playing that perfectly most of the time. You know, on their attack, Damien was able to pick off Tox a lot, but clearly on the defense, Tox playing more defensively and at the same time being more aggressive at times. So Tox really getting to that Soma role, and then Blur just being able to capitalize on that Winston and being kept alive by Fluffy, and Slade just doing Slade things and redditing into the backline to take care of the Widow. Just amazing play from the side of Enigma on all of them.
Yeah, absolutely impressive stuff here. Our next map will be Hollywood. We haven't seen much Hollywood, of course. Usually Kings Row is the pick here, but I believe this is a oh no, they are picking maps. Okay, so not sure what the map pool is exactly, but we'll move to Hollywood here. Now, we've seen Enigma match them on the dive quite effectively, right? Do you think that's going to play a part here in Hollywood?
Definitely. Hollywood actually really versatile when it comes to composition. You can play the double shield, the brawl works. So I'm really interested to see in what Enigma favors, because their dive has been looking amazing. I don't want to see them play the brawl. They were not good on the brawl. They should just stick to the dive and do what's working. The side of OG, Tracer, really strong hero on Hollywood if you can make her work. But it's really hard to get into positions to capitalize on that. So as long as Fluffy plays his positioning right, it's going to be a hard time for Diablo if he's on that Tracer pick.
And of course, anytime you put Auntie on the Zoom, anytime you put Auntie on the Tracer, you can stick Auntie on the Winston, and that combo, ramps up in their potential damage output and their ability to find those pickoffs. So, yeah, that could end up being a key here for OG on Hollywood. Really standout performance though from Damien on Junkertown, especially on that Hanzo. Do you think you can make that work on Hollywood as well?
Definitely, as a Hanzo player, I can tell you Hanzo is really fun to play on Hollywood. There's lots of off angles to take. You can play a lot more aggressively than usual. So being able to play the Hanzo pick that he sees comfortably, he's gonna have a lot of fun in this map.
Yeah, man, it does look like he agrees here with you. We'll be putting out that Hanzo. A Orisa, they're on attack. Let's ignore that for now. On defense, Enigma, going for that dive, as suggested. In fact, exact same composition that worked for them on Junkertown. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm really happy that they're sticking with us. I do not want to see them return to the dive, and I guess they heard me. So sticking to that dive that's been working for them.
Okay, yeah, they're gonna go for the double bubble here on OG. I thought the Orisa Zarya was
We
extremely
have seen
unlucky
that
to actually
before.
come.
And
Yeah,
now
but it's not like good.
yeah,
It feels bad.
it was terrible.
Toxia in the backline here finds the hack onto Damien. You immediately recognizing the target there. Gets out with 13 HP just in the nick of time. It had his relocate very far back there. Now they get aggressive and oh man, Damien 1-2 there takes down Fluffy and Jelly Doodle one after another and allows his team to force their way through. Vertigo here will be the last to fall courtesy of a punch from Zoom, and that's gonna be that for the first point.
See, Damien taking off angles like I thought he would on the Hanzo, just showing just how good he is in that hero, being his counter pick. Oh, Auntie. Just in the backline, picking off the early spawners and I guess stopping the close hold for Enigma.
Yeah, they have to pull back now and wait for Fluffy to get back before they can start moving forward, and that's going to allow OG to take just a aggressive positioning on the high ground here as they force Blur further and further back here. Blur doesn't really have the backup to get up there. You know, he has to wait for JD to TPN or Tox to relocate up and start translocate, sorry, and she doesn't really want to go aggressive with the translocator, so he might have a tough time fighting Batty here. Comes the Hanzo ultimate here. Damien charged it up nice and quickly here. You'd almost think Enigma were on the attack with how they're positioned at the moment, but they are the defenders. Trying to take the angle, and Chili, we're going to open things up here. That's a big kill. Oh, but that's an even bigger one. Blur taken out by the pulse bomb, and a quick follow-up from Damien to pick up a triple here. Give him the quadruple. Nope. And it gets stolen by Alvin Slayer, but Damien putting on a clinic on the Hanzo on this map.
Definitely the DPS for OG really showing up, yeah, especially Damien on that counter pick on Hanzo. He's just getting pick after pick, pumping damage into Blur. Blur can't really do much when he's half health by the time he reaches the fight. So Damien showing up.
Big time here, and Tox only 50% towards that EMP. Where do you go? Gonna throw ulti out here. It
Oh
finds!
my god.
Gonna hit the deck here as Jelly Doodle picks up a third. Great work from this lady right here, managing to find a double with the self-destruct. Not really supposed to get kills with that spell.
Yeah, the Queen of Peel showing she can do a lot more than just peel there. Getting take up the pick with every self-destruct he throws out.
Doesn't even need the EMP this time, and of course she feels comfortable throwing it out when Tox is charging it at like half the speed that she is. But Tox now does have the EMP. Not a very obvious combo here, although Jelly Doodle almost had that Death Blossom.
Yeah, definitely. EMP Death Blossom isn't conventional, but it could work. Just getting rid of all the resources of Enigma, so they can go ham in the backline.
Speaking of going ham here, Blur in the backline going ham. Oh, sorry. Zoom just trying to weather the storm here. Damon has already dropped, so OG might want to just pull back here. That's a big anti-heal on Blur though. I wonder if they can clean him up there on the front line. Vertigo elsewhere. Need to put pressure on the Brigitte there. Hill's going in both directions here, but the spawn's much closer to OG, so they're happy to trade here. As I said, Primal Rage gonna come out of Zoom, look to pick up a couple. Auntie does go down. Jelly tracks down the pesky tracer and takes her out of the team fight. Vertigo gets her mech back, but that was a pretty sloppy team fight from OG.
Yeah, if you're Enigma, you're pretty happy. You use 0 ults there, and you're able to, I guess, use Primal. But you use Primal's like fodder, but you use none of your essential ults there, and you won that team fight. And you got to draw out the Nano and the Primal. OG though, coming up with that Grab Dragon combo, so you get a count on Vertigo to eat that grab again.
Yeah, but they're fighting with this EMP now from Tox, so it could be a tough one.
Oh my god.
This is the combo, a double kill, comes out of Jelly Doodle, and the cleanup is elementary from that point. Great work from Enigma, really engaging their brains to win this one.
Yeah, Tox slow on I guess pulling out that EMP, but his EMPs have been really good. That was a 6-man EMP. Just basically deleting the side of OG.
Man. Although the downside of the EMP is they can't use any ultimates, so still coming in with 5 here. Graviton says to start things off, comboed here with the dragon. Does it get any kills so far? Not finding anything. Zlade will go down eventually. Alex tracks down Tox as well, so a great start for OG in this team fight, but they've used quite a few ultis here, and they're not taking it cleanly. JD will eventually take him down, and I think that should help them push forward, but they have limited healing here, especially now when OG lose Lulu Ball on this Brigitte. They need to clean up here. The self-destruct will come out here. Oh, that was bad. There goes Alvin Slayer. No bubbles left to counter the self-destruct. And Enigma, once again, in the driver's seat in this team fight. They have Ulti's room. They're going to take him down. They somehow weathering the storm here. 5 ultis rather, came into this team fight on the side of OG. And they're leaving with only 1.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened. The Tox and Vertigo just calling out so long. He was late to come back, so they get the support and just Vertigo with that clutch self-destruct. Picking up Alvin Slayer, just so much happening. Enigma coming up with the win there.
I mean, that was highly impressive, man. That's the kind of chaotic fight that you'd expect a team who has a strong mechanical lead in terms of their mechanics to win out, but Enigma rolling it out there, winning it out, but this is a bad start. Vertigo dropping straight off the bat here. Tox does get a counter kill, but they've lost Jelly. Now they've lost Fluffy as well as Blur gets aggressive, and I think they should just back out here. No, Blur's like, we can still win this. I can buy time. You guys can respawn. The spawn is, of course, right around the corner here from where the card is at the moment. He's tracked out Lulu Ball and taken her out. Damon has not switched onto the Pharaoh, so relying heavily on that Mercy, so might have trouble doing the damage, but he's got damage enough to get rid of Blur, but kills going both directions, and as I said earlier, this favors Enigma. They get the kill onto Alvin, a couple more. Zoom, the last man standing here for his squad, and OG in a lot of trouble on the second point.
I was definitely disappointed when Blur used the Primal, but he just proved me wrong. He's totally out long enough for his team to come back, but today, going a bit too Reddit Lucio today.
Oh yeah, maybe a little bit too Reddit Lucio as he does get taken down here. This ultimate though, does he choose to pop it here? The sleep has come out already. They can get rid of this ball. They're probably happy with where they are. This team Damien somehow gets killed by this death boss. I'm not sure what he was doing. So close to the ground. The EMP comes out as well. Doesn't catch on to. He's flying around, but not with a lot of HP to play with. And will eventually get taken down. Zoom back in the mix, but dropped as soon as he lands. And that will be that. Enigma, hold on second point.
Is it just me or is Enigma winning more fights when their players down than when they have 6 players?
Yeah.
Because it looks like a trend. Maybe OG pulling out a little or being a little bit lax when it comes to finishing off team fights, and Enigma just taking advantage of that.
Yeah, very, very, very impressive stuff from Enigma here. I think they look better today than they have looked in many of the games in the past, you know, when they had their full 6-man. So I think being forced to kind of switch up their play style and think on the fly is really coming in clutch for them here.
Who knows, maybe Tox is like secretly a god like Sombra and he's just been baiting us all for the last 6 years.
Well, I mean, if you're Enigma here, do you go, sorry, Minitech, replacement?
I'm not sure we're replacing Minitech just yet. That's all we've seen from Tox is the Sombra, but so far it's been working, I guess.
Yeah. It's something we don't see out of Enigma very often because it's not really a jelly hero, it's the Sombra, you know, and Minitech obviously more of a projectile player, so interesting kind of wrinkle that they're adding in here into this composition. But on the defense for OG, they will be bringing out this Torbjorn.
Yeah, Torbjorn really good against Sombra. It's definitely good at, so Sombra won't be able to poke as much, won't be able to get up as a lot of backline pickups. But no Hanzo, so I'm not sure how explosive he's on Torb.
Yeah, that's true, and he really was kind of a key to a lot of the teamfight victories on the defense. And swift movement here, just trying to scope things out. Going to come through the security room here on the left-hand side. Blur is, so he looks to get back. They're going quite a long rotation here around the back. I'm looking to check there's no Widowmaker in the mix or something, because I've seen this play on King's Row, of course, but now moving straight onto point. That's going to force him to drop. He might even be able to work his way down the back here, might Blur. Instead, he's going to go up over the top. The tanks have dropped. They can't get back up, and now we can put pressure on the back line, but instead takes too much pressure of himself. I like the idea, but the execution was just a little bit lacking there. But now, Jerry Ludo left in the lurch here, getting healed up quite extensively by Fluffy, but not able to find any picks just yet. These players need to die or get out soon, because they're wasting a bit of time here for Enigma's next attack.
Yeah, if you saw there, Bluff actually fell off the high ground after he jumped, so that was easy for OG to capitalize on, and the main tank on the side of Enigma was just left stranded in the middle of a big angry German man.
Yeah, just kind of close your eyes and swing at that point. You're bound to hit blur on the monkey. Once again, though, same play. Are OG wise to it now? How do they choose to respond? They choose to get a little bit more aggressive and find a pick on the way through. This is disaster city here for Enigma. They have no Moira. The healing is so much more limited, and immediately they capitalize by taking down both of the Enigma tanks. Now they have to get back. Alban was DMEC, which is a bit of a concern. Nice pin on through. He's going to go down, but Spawn favors the defenders here, so they should be able to reinforce with more than enough time.
Yeah, but they don't have the Dima. They just have a baby Diva right now, so this was the time for Enigma to capitalize. And Tox on the Echo, no longer on the Sombra, so I'm curious to see how he performs in the Echo.
Well, it's built up quite a bit of outcharge already. Austin now has his ultimate. He's going to look to make a huge remake play here. No, he's not. I thought that would have been very bold of him. He's got the self-destruct at the ready now, but they've already lost 2 players. Jojido comes in now with the Death Blossom, picks off 1, cleans up the Diva, and cleans up this team fight for his team. Enigma doing a great job of executing.
Yeah, full-on aggressive play from Enigma as Alvin Slayer was remaking, so the Diva wasn't exactly there early enough to stave off most of the damage, and I guess Enigma just being smart enough to take advantage of that and just pounding the side of OG.
Yeah, they just identified 2 targets who were not protected here, as we do see a pause come out from Enigma, and executing perfectly to take them down before Zoom could really get in position, and before Alvin could remix. So nice play from Enigma here, and I'm so impressed with what they've been pulling off this evening.
Yeah, definitely playing above what we expected from them, especially considering Tox is on an off roll. This is going really well for the team. I'm really impressed. Their aggressiveness, their overall teamwork has been just beyond what OG is capable of putting out right now, and it's showing.
Yeah. At least so far in this series, OG haven't really looked up to the task of matching them in terms of coordination and synergy. But they do, of course, have a fair mechanical gulf when it comes to that DPS, at least.
Yeah, and Enigma just doing well to get rid of that. Like, just team play is much better than mechanics to me. At least it's much more important. Being able to just dive at a single unit, it's your widow that can click heads is going to do nothing when there's 4 characters just on her the entire time, so...
Ooh, ultimate's coming out here. Shadow goes down. Doesn't find too much here.
Oh my god, Anti-Diablo.
Kills from Anti-Diablo's Deadeye. Interesting choice to duplicate the McCree. You're not that good of a DPS. You want to put yourself on the hardest DPS with the duplicate and try and find value. But not going to work out here for Enigma now. Going to be forced back.
Yeah, Anti-Diablo coming in front of the Deadeye yet again, picking off 2 kills. And this was just history from their Tox messing up his duplicate. I hope he messed it up, but I don't think he won.
He's smart enough to know that's not the right hero to go through as they throw in the self-destruct. Finds in the backline, not quite sure how that happened. Vertigo loses her mech as well, so both tanks dropping for Enigma. They have lost on the side of OG's room in turn, but Alvin Slayer with the supports at his back can just pump them down and they can hold them here forever. It seems like, or they'll be happy to do that as now the regroup has to come through.
Yeah, big bomb from Alvin Slayer, just ending the fight just as it started with kicking off both tanks, which is probably the most important role, arguably. So not having any tanks in that fight is just, I guess it's see you later, dude.
Well, as a person who played both tank roles throughout his career, I agree, it's the most important role. I'm happy to hear finally a DPS for some sense here. Diablo gets aggressive, he flashbangs late, and he's taken down with the help of his rest of his team. Jojido though getting aggressive here. You kind of happy up against that, and look, Zoom's dropped on the front line now. Jojido gets the DMEC and now can pop the Death Blossom, and all of a sudden it all falls apart for OG as Enigma forced their way through this choke.
Yes, Lade was actually stuck behind the cart after the bomb there, so OG just capitalized on that, but Zoom overextending and Enigma just seeing that opportunity and going for it, and just showing how good they are as a team and being able to make those calls and whether it's pushing or come back.
It's the first time this evening we've seen Zoom get a little bit antsy and get taken down in a too aggressive a position.
His Ryan play definitely a lot more disappointing than his
Winston
player.
duplicate it. He's going for it, dude. That's his plan. He wants to be a huge Deadeye, and so far it's not working. Deadeye instead comes out of on Diablo there to get rid of Vertigo's neck, and now they can push forward. He goes for another one. Doesn't find anything on this occasion either, and now put under pressure. The beat comes out as well for Enigma here. Enigma dropping low. Taken down, Brothers, Coalescence committed in the other direction. So Enigma still feel like they can win this one as Blur drops extremely low, but they've lost so many players here on the blue squad. Aftershock goes up now, doesn't find anything, but Tox will be taken out by Diablo's McCree elsewhere. And now they're going to have to get back, so a little bit of ill discipline from Enigma.
Yeah, I did not like the commitment there. For me, the second they lost Jelly in the first fight, they shouldn't have committed ults. Either feed and die or just get out, because committing ult when you're one down is always going to be a bad. And now they don't even have a mech to go into the final fight.
Oh, that is true, and this is the final fight here with only 35 seconds left on the clock. No mech, no ultimates here, although close to Blur and Jelly Doodle's ultimates respectively, but they're fighting into a Molten Core and another High Noon here from Onti, and he's doing an incredible job of at least getting one pick or the mech with that ultimate. So if he can do that here, his team will be in a good position, and they're fighting with the sound barrier, so it's going to be a hard push, but Enigma has shown us they can do these hard pushes. They can work through. Vertigo gets aggressive here, eats the self-destruct or the Deadeye, but gets taken down in the process. Yeah, mech taken down as Blur having to use his Palmer Rage to get rid of the turret. Lucio trade out there as Lulu Bell takes down Slade. Oh no, the sound, I can't remember the name of the spell, but it's awesome. It's taken Big Shadow. What you want to see, Big Shadow coming out from Tox, and they might just have done it now. He's a little bit isolated here from the rest of his team. He's got another Shadow, but Zoom, he's played before, but the Fire Strike takes him down. So Tox, you can play every role in this match. Has played the support, of course, in the past. Now on the DPS and on the tank, and cleaning up here for Enigma. They have done it, not quite yet. The spawn's coming through. The Lucio here for Lulubal needs to stay on point, gets beamed down here. The Moria also still in the mix, and now the ball coming back. The spawn so much closer for the defensive side. So OG had that to their advantage. Beamed off the point there. Need to be careful to stay honest. Damien rejoins on the Doomfist here with the ball dropping low. The beat in the mix now from Lulubal, or no, sorry, from Slade. Ready to clean up, self-destruct over the top now, doesn't find anything but forces the back. One kill coming out of on Diablo. That might be what they need to clean it up, but there's still Coalescence in the mix here. There's still tanks on the point. The self-destruct over the top now, standing on the point. They clean up Damien or on Diablo, and Enigma take the 2-1 lead.
Tox coming up and showing us that just because he can't play DPS doesn't mean he can't play tank on DPS. Absolutely amazing plays from the Echo player, and just good overall, I guess, team play and being able to stay their discipline and not overextending in that final fight.
Yeah, damn, that was, I mean, okay, here we see again. Second play set up by Tox, play of the game, all with an EMP, but I mean, I'm shook, Babs. My entire understanding of the landscape of South African Overwatch is turned on its head.
Yeah, Enigma really coming up and showing up on this comp. I really like this comp from him. It's especially considering they had a disadvantage, or at least we thought it was a disadvantage. Talks in the Sombra, but coming up and showing up on this the Suedo brawl dive comp, and it's just it's working for them.
Yeah, Scars, I think you might need to talk to Minitig and say you might need to be, entering the free agent market again, because they've got a replacement here in the form of Tox and Tox on their DBS. His Sombra has been impressive enough, at least in terms of getting value out of the EMP, but that Echo play was just good Echo play.
Yeah,
like good heroes, using the ultimate effectively and doing decent damage. Really, really well played from Enigma.
Echo really one of the harder DPS to get, I guess, effective on because of positioning and just overall mechanical demand. So Tox really showing up with that Echo play and proving us wrong when we thought he'd be a liability to the team.
Yeah, proving me wrong in more ways than one, because my 3-0 prediction here is looking more and more ridiculous, unfortunately for me, I guess. But I'm always happy to see exciting Overwatch. I'm always happy to see the power rankings turn on their head, and this is a shocking result, as it looks like we will be heading into Paris for our next map. Babs, what does this map even look like? First of all, it's not a map in the game.
I will. If we go to Paris, I'm leaving. I'm just muting my mic.
I don't think it's even in the hero pool of competitive. Sorry, the map pool of competitive, let alone in this tournament. So.
Yeah, going to Temple of Anubis, definitely favoring the dive, especially the Trace and the Genji. So I can see why OG would be picking this.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, when we looked at their match against the Beastie Boys here, Beastie Boys came out on top on this map and looked very, very strong in doing so. But this time Enigma coming in with the momentum here. And OG, they have to go back to the drawing board here and figure out what they need to change to beat this dominating Tox DPS.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a big mental change, especially since Hollywood was their pick, and losing on your map pick is very detrimental to the mental strength of your players. So picking a map that they can play the comfort picks is honestly the best way here, so everyone can be as calm as possible and just pull themselves out from the hole that they're kind of stuck in right now.
Yeah, assuming that is, of course, we don't know what the mental is like in the team at the moment, but you've got to be feeling like, as OG Dam, we should be dominating this and we're behind. So it's a bit concerning for them. But this is also their map pick. So feeling like whatever they have in the bag will help them through here. A map where Hanzo for Damien can excel, but more often we see some other things. We see a little bit of Torbjorn. Occasionally we see the Junkrat. So a lot of options for OG to work with here.
Yeah, it's also a really good Genji map. And I know Nick Damien, he loves his Genji pick. He's just like me. We have the same hero pool.
Yeah.
So being able to, I guess, flex
on Genji though, Babs. Isn't that hero like dead?
Listen, we will not speak about that. So Damien having lots of, I guess, places to go onto his comfort picks. Hopefully he'll be able to pop off like he did on that defense on Junkertown.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say then, Babs, that the difference between these two teams is that coordination? Like that really is all it's coming down to?
Definitely. It was like less you could see it less on the dive comp since Zoom just had to coordinate with the Tracer in the backline. But when he's on the Rhine, you can definitely see him and his team have a big split. Lots of overextending, lots of just overall disconnect from the team, and Enigma taking full on advantage from that.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff from Enigma. But OG, they've been in this position before, maps down. They have the kind of experience on the squad to know how to pick themselves up from a disappointing, start to a series. So they will be able to reset the mental, as you alluded to earlier, and bring out the W here.
Yeah,
I said I was ready, Mr. Fluffy. Anyways, so yeah, sorry, go for it.
Hopefully they can come up on the dive comp that we've seen him so comfortable on, and just what they need right now is to roll Enigma so they can just hype up their mental, because it's as a player who's played before in the situation, it's really hard to get through something like this. And I know you maybe you can agree with me that being down in mental and down in momentum is probably the worst thing to do.
What are you trying to say, Babs? That I lost more games than I won playing. I'm
not saying that about you.
I exclusively won all my matches. Otherwise, it was my team's fault. Anyways, we are on Temple of Anubis here, as we said. Expecting dive out of both teams here on both points, probably. But these assault maps, you can really run some wacky stuff in. You can come up with some cheese if you have that in your backpack.
Yeah, as a caster, I want to see coordinated dive play, but as a spectator, I want to see wacky Junkrat, Bastion, Symmetra stuff.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I've been praising Enigma's creativity recently, actually. In their previous series, both against DYG and the Beastie Boys, they came out with some wacky stuff. But this time, it's going to be more of the same. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's been the mantra for Enigma throughout this series. Once again, Jellydoll on the Reaper. Top's going to be coming in on the Echo as well, and the rest of the crew will be reprising their roles on their various heroes.
Yeah.
On the attack, what are your thoughts on running the dive once again for OG?
They're definitely going to be running the dive. Maybe a double bubble, actually, because double bubble is really strong on this map. So then we might see that come out since it came out earlier, but judging from how it looks right now, they're probably going to dive.
Does look that way here. On Diablo though, on the Ashe. As we jump into a pause here, must be Blur's fault. No, it's OG's fault actually. For once in his goddamn life, it's somebody else's fault. Oh, okay. Zoom says his models aren't loading, so he's playing on a toaster, it would seem. On Diablo though, on the Ashe on attack here, what are your thoughts on that versus, for example, the Tracer?
See, the Tracer you can play a lot more, I guess, aggressive and get rid of the backline, but the Ashe you rely on your team to create lots of space for you to pop off. But that being said, Tox is on the Echo, and having a really good hit scan player like on Diablo 2 gets rid of that is going to be, I guess it's going to be interesting to see the matchup.
And it's the kind of matchup where you can, a less experienced DPS player might be forced into a lot of mistakes by a good Ashe. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. Zoom has... the hamster has started running now in his computer. Oh, jeez, yes, it's started. 54 HP here, 51. No teammates in sight to even give him some HP as OG look to kind of post up here and look to get aggressive. Finding any targets. There's no real good targets to dive on this Enigma team, and getting forced back just a little bit here. Good dynamite comes through from Ashe, and now getting aggressive. There we go. They find the pick onto Damien, and Blur's gonna drop in turn though, so that's quite a good trade for OG. Now they can look to push forward. Spawn's favoring them, of course, and they can even move to clean up Blur as he comes back from Spawn. But a little bit disjointed here. Fluffy having to look far and wide to find teammates to heal, who are critical on the other side of the map, and they can push forward. There we go. Another double pick here from OG. Blur back in on the ball here. He just wants to get in as quickly as possible. Looks like it's his first time playing this hero because he's not really able to do what he wants to. There we go. No, there we go. There we go. Back into the fight now. The pile driver has to get out as quick as possible. High chat there from Scars. We don't want to see what these players have to say. All we care about is the talking they do in the game. And so far, it's been shouting from OG.
Yeah, so definitely Blur overextending at the pick on to Damien. I mean, maybe he expected Bud to go to follow him, but she didn't have boosters up. So Blur getting picked up early, and then OG just capitalizing on the lack of momentum on the side of Enigma.
Yeah, and again, that Moira seeming like she was struggling to find or to get the healing to the targets that needed it there. So, bit of anti-synergy. Moira, you don't really want the Moira in this kind of composition, but it's been working for them so far.
Yeah, so this is actually a comp being played right now with the hero bands in Owl, with the Moira, and they played like a brawl without the Reinhardt. So
it's of a dive, you kind of just want to barrel on in there as a unit, and that's what they're going to do here. Digital immediately finds Onti, so that's a heavy hitter out of the fight here for OG. Toxin Socks jumping back, it's Frozen Mine, not sure if it is on yours. Now we're back here with the Primal Rage almost at the ready. Only 5 seconds left on the ultimate. We'll pop that Primal and get aggressive, but Tox has already lost a lot of teammates here, and you need to take clean team fights on this map type, especially on second point. On Assault, Vertigo gonna throw ultimate out, doesn't find anything. Damien dropping low, take it down. She did in fact find the mech. Jellido set up now, and OG not likely to find anything else out of this team fight.
Yeah, definitely a few trades in the beginning, but if you're on the attack on 2CP, you do not want any trades.
Yeah,
it definitely favors the defense team.
Absolutely, it does. Oh, this could be something here. When was the last time you saw this, Babs? The Death Blossom from the lip here.
This is gonna be, hopefully Alvis' Diva doesn't just eat it up, and Jerry Joe can actually get something done.
Looks like they're just going to move on the left instead here. Jerry not going to wait for it. Actually, just go straight away. Not going to waste any time with this Death Blossom, and it's going to help them pick up a couple of kills here. It's just Alvin Slayer left as Lulubal, drops last, and that's about as clean and team fight execution as you could hope for, and only throwing in... Oh no, they committed the Coalescence as well.
Yeah, but definitely nice aggression from the side of Enigma, and Jelly just pressing W and pressing that Q button.
Yeah.
Picking off the main heals on the spot on the side of OG and just capitalizing for that. Enigma playing really well to the team play.
Yeah, very well indeed, but now coming in with 4 ultimates on the side of OG Kintsugi, and Lulubal likely to get her Valkyrie up soon as well. Blur getting aggressive, the whole team in fact gonna follow up. There's a lot of damage from the Tesla cannon and the Primal Rage at the ready. Blur gonna pop his own primal rage. No, sorry, this is Damien's primal rage. There's so many monkeys. I can't keep track of who's doing what and when. But Vertigo gonna lose her mech in the process, in the melee here, and her life soon to follow. So OG doing a good job. Zoom? I know, I think we've lost Zoom, but I guess eventually they might discover that. Maybe the hamster stopped running and he has to give him a bit of slap on the butt to get him going again. But Jelly we're going to drop now, and the ticks are starting to build here for OG. Vertigo and Blur though are back in the mix, but Fluffy has dropped. Fox trades out with Damien, so that's quite good for them as Vertigo pops a self-destruct but gets killed before she can remix. So OG in the driver's seat here despite losing a couple of players. Blur dropping low, doesn't quite make it out, and OG will cap the first tick. Second tick soon to follow. There it is. Not there it is. Someone's back in the mix. Get it? No, okay, it's two players here on the point. Three now. A lot of players coming in. They need to pick these kills up a little bit quicker here. Vertigo back in the mix here. Nowhere near that self-destruct, of course. She just threw it out last fight. But Jelly and now, and he's gotten down Zoom. He's got the self-destruct. The Rez comes out and does get Zoom back in the fight. That could be huge, but this could be even bigger. Not quite though, as the second tick is taken here from OG. Lots of kills going their way as well, but every now and again, Enigma are getting a pick, and with the spawn advantage, they might just grind this one out. OG in a tough position here. Self-destruct committed here from the Diva. That's going to demake one kill, and now the Toxin Socks coming in clutch for his team here. Loses the duplicate, but it's not going to matter as Enigma force their way back out, give away two ticks, but hold the second point.
Like you said, every time OG got two picks, Enigma would get one, and being on the defense, that's totally exactly what they'd be happy with.
Yeah.
Just favoring them completely in terms of spawn and just stalling out perfectly from the Lucio and Sports on the side of Enigma for their team to come back and just talks with that Diva pick coming in clutch once again.
Yeah, no, very nice. Diva kind of hit and miss, I think, as a duplicate target for Echo. You kind of would rather have a main tank most of the time, but every now and again you get a massive self-destruct that justifies you picking that hero to duplicate in the future. There'll be a flank here coming around left hand side here for OG's Room leading the charge here for the boys in green, but that is good. And there's a minefield in the backline. Damien has gone for the self-destruct play of his own here, but he's lost all of his teammates here, it looks like, as now Enigma pushed them on back. The self-destruct comes out again from Damien. This time not going to find anything as Vertigo cleans up the fight. Only 30 seconds left on the clock, perhaps.
Once again, team play from Enigma just on point. The combo with a dive and the stickies from Tox, just proving just how good they are at coordinating the play with their team.
Damien has now switched onto that Hanzo Babs that we've been looking for, so this might be the difference maker. If he can find one pick, two picks, three picks on that Hanzo, that might push them through. As Alvin Slayer moves on to point, that was a desperation play. He had to get the boom comes out, doesn't find anything just yet. In fact, neither does the self-destruct, but Damien has found two kills, but his team are falling apart at the seams here. Oh, the kill with the remake there. Jelly triple Death Blossom, and Enigma hold the second point.
Yeah, Zoom got booped off as he tried to shatter, so big play from Lucy on the side of Enigma, and just from that being able to isolate everyone but the Reinhardt and killing them off, and just the cherry on top with the 3k from Jetty. Just amazing play from Enigma. Damien tried to fight back with two picks, but I guess it wasn't enough.
Yeah, you almost wonder if you should just stick him on that hero and let him do his thing, right?
Definitely,
Put him on the Hanzo and let him get picks, and you know, every couple of team fights that might help you through, and that's all it takes in 2CP.
Yeah, especially how consistent he's been on there. I say, throw away the comp sheet, put Damien on the Hanzo, and just give him the support he needs, and you'll be fine.
Yep, sometimes that's what you need, but it's also quite hard to identify that as a player in game. I think, Babs, like it's easy to identify what's carrying on the opponent's team. But sometimes it can be quite hard to figure out what's working on your own team when you're losing.
Yeah,
so we have to wait and see if they will be able to identify that, or if they even agree.
Oh, Damien's starting on the Hanzo on defense. Maybe they heard us, you know.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, not hopefully they did. Hopefully they didn't. Hopefully they just came to the same conclusion, and they're gonna go for this sort of pseudo double hit scan composition with the Ashe and Damien chunking in damage from long range, and it makes a lot of sense against a dive.
Yeah, especially being able to burn down that Winston a lot just as he dives in, getting the headshots, getting the stone arrows off into his body. It's gonna be dangerous for Blood to play the game.
Might be dangerous for Tox as well if he's not careful. Might get his head taken off at an inopportune moment, but they are going to lean on the Sombra here once again on the side of Enigma. Otherwise, nothing else has changed. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it once again, as Enigma are 2-1 up in the series. If they win this, remember, they just have to get a near completion on the second point, and they will be our third place finisher in the Raving Mad Gamers Last Men Standing tournament. So
Yeah, no chance to drop. So Enigma
yeah,
either winning this or losing this, and from where they've been playing, I'm looking at a win right now.
they are looking very likely to take this one, but anything can happen on 2CP, Babs. You know that as well as I do. And Tox dropping early, it's going to be a good start for them. Alex is tracked down there, and they might lose Alvin Slayer as well. Vertigo going to look to track him down. Yeah, he does get demixed, so this is quite good actually. Yeah, Jelly still in the fray. He gets another couple of kills, and all of a sudden, this is looking Enigma favorite here. It's just a couple of kills to clean up. Lulu Ball drops, so does the wall. Tox with a double kill of his own, and somehow Enigma have managed to bring that one back.
The Reaper from Jedriel just showing how good he is at the game, just staying his position and just capitalizing whoever dives at them, and just being able to get 3 picks in that fight. Amazing play from the Hitscam player on the side of Enigma.
Yeah, absolutely. Jedriel has had a quiet series, relatively speaking. We've kind of focused more on Tox just because of the context surrounding that player and hero combination. And Blur gets aggressive now. Coalescence from Fluffy going to be driven in as they look to kind of clean things up here. Remember, they don't even need the full cap, only 17.6% they need to take. We're going to get aggressive here. Needs to be careful not to get down. Fluffy going to follow him in, but they've lost Slade, and Damien's back. Headshot straight into Tox. Vertigo going to trade it out there, and the Death Blossom comes out on the front line, not finding anything. Most of the damage eaten up by Alvin Slayer's defense matrix. That self-destruct from Vertigo also not going to find anything. So an expensive team fight for Enigma, not coming up with much to show for it, as Diablo gets a quick out on the side. Finally, Jeldudo taken down. It's just Vertigo left. There's a +1 there on the top left. Now Tox in the mix as well, so they're trying to force this one through, but we know how the game is played here, Babs. We saw what happened in the previous fight. Now the self-destruct comes out from Alvin Slayer. He gets rid of Vertigo. Auntie gets rid of the mech beforehand, and suddenly, or sorry, now it's looking pretty good for OG.
Yeah, just being able to like rely on that spawns to counter the first pick and just playing safe. You know, it doesn't hurt to give up one tick right now.
Yeah,
And just taking on team fight, and luckily they never gave up a single tick. They gave us some percentage, but it means nothing when Enigma got cut off before they could get to the first tick.
they do have this EMP though, Babs, so that could be pretty difficult. And nice
Big and
Alex, Jelly ends up getting taken down as Toxic to find something with that EMP. This is an expensive team fight here. They managed to get Alex, but it's not clean enough, I don't think, to win them this team fight. Fluffy has his ultimate, but no, they're losing too many players here on the side of Enigma, and that was an expensive fight. EMP goes in, and nothing comes out.
Yeah, definitely. Tox should be able to tell that if he's a Reaper split, he should just stay back and wait for the next fight, at least wait for his spawn. So using the EMP, very disappointing from the Suedo DPS player on the side of...
I think he just wanted to switch though, right? He's now
yeah,
moving to the Echo, so he doesn't want to spend 8 minutes trying to find an EMP when he doesn't even want to play Sombra.
True. Echo picked really good. Diablo hasn't been able to shut him down, at least on the defense side. He wasn't able to shut the Echo down. Echo getting lots of value. So I'm hoping to see the same from the side, from top side of Enigma.
Ooh, we have to wait and see here. Nano boost at the ready for Alex. As Blur
Ooh, big
just makes up the
sticky.
gap and big sticky. Yeah, Alex now 15 HP and on Diablo is taken down. Insurrection should be ready to come out here, but Lulubar not put under pressure. No, able to get it off quite effectively. Molten Core now comes out from Damien, has switched onto the Torgo, built it up and thrown it down, but he's gonna go down in return. Vertigo dropping low, but won't be dealt with on this Diva. A couple of other heroes going down now. Alvin Slayer, no mech to play with anymore as Torbjorn, as the ball of Zoom gets forced back here, almost up to the minefields, but this is a very good clean team fight here from Enigma. No heroes dropping on their side yet. This is how you win a 2CP map. Damien getting it taken now. Minefields not contributing nearly enough, and the first tick finally up for Enigma. Self-destruct over the top. Does get rid of Blur and a mech, I think. Yes, Vertigo dropping. Alpha Slayer, though, killed before the remake, but I think OG have done enough here.
Oh my.
Oh, they haven't! Oh, no!
Enigma just showing up when it counts.
Oh, man. Wow. That's going to be it. I thought OG were in control of that, but sort of point at the wrong time. I believe we have a name for that. But let's not get into it. Enigma will take a 3-1 victory.
Oh, we both big prediction from both of us, I guess.
Yeah, Slade says nice prediction, buddy. Sorry, Slade, bro. Okay, I went human. I learned Nostradamus. Can't see into the future. So I'm impressed. Really impressed with the Enigma we saw today, I think. And they, of course, secured themselves the 3rd place slot in the Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing tournament. Babs, what did we just witness?
Enigma just played out of their minds. The coordination, just the popping of Shinga from Jelly Doodle. It's just absolutely amazing, especially considering that Tox is on DPS, a role that he's not comfortable on. He's known for his amazing main support, and coming into a high-level game on a role that you're not known for and just popping off the way he did. Amazing play from Tox, and especially just the entire Enigma team overall.
I mean, I'm still lost for words here, Babs. I don't know anything about South African Overwatch anymore. Who's good? Who's bad? Who plays what on what team?
That was
thrown up in the air now.
A very confusing match, I guess. OG coming on the first map and being dominant in the dive competition. I thought that would be like, the rest of the game, but Enigma just proving us wrong again with their amazing team play and just wow.
Man, I think if you're Enigma here, you've caught lightning in a bottle and you try and figure out what was it about what happened today that pushed us through to a victory. Because we've seen them play with their normal comp, including Minitech, and with Tox on support, and they don't often look this good. So for them, I think you have to look back and say, how do we keep this momentum up? How do we keep doing this, playing like this? And maybe it's just a case of having the pressure off. Nobody's expecting you to win this game. Nobody's expecting anything out of you because of the context surrounding your players right now. And maybe that pressure being off them just allowed them to play freely and really just focus on working as a unit.
I really think it came to them like finding their team comp and finding their playstyle when it came to the dive role hybrid with Sombra Reaper and just playing off that. If it's not broken, don't fix it, and just going with that the entire game and just proving to us that team play can overthrow mechanics a lot of the time.
That's something we've kind of been feeling is missing, right? With our 2 top teams being not dedicated to the team play side of things. So
yeah, definitely. Very
exciting to see. But that's going to be it, guys. Babs, before we go, you need to give me your player of the match.
This is...
Babs? Just tell me, just say.
It's Tox. It's Tox just coming on and just like popping off, especially considering he's not a DPS player. His EMPs were amazing. His echo play was phenomenal. Just Tox being the overall best, the MVP on the side of Enigma for this game.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think just the fact that he's one of the best flex supports in the country. And, we talk about it a lot. He's a main support now, but he used to be a flex support. Talk about it a lot. As far as role switching goes, this is the most obvious role switch in Overwatch. Even more than main to off-tank, it's flex DPS to flex support. But Tox has been a career flex support. It's not like the guys like Luke and Squishy who've switched from DPS to support, where you've got that mechanics built in, ready to go, and then you need to learn how to shoot teammates instead of enemies. But it's like, Tox has really been on that support the whole time, and switching back is not nearly as easy. So very, very impressive stuff from Tox, and I agree, well-deserved player of the match. Shout out to all players on both teams, though. A stellar matchup and really fun to watch. But that is going to be it, guys, for the Last Men Standing. No, let's try that again. Raving Mad Gamers Last Man Standing tournament for Overwatch, sponsored by PC International. It's been a fun time all round. Congratulations to the boys from Randburg Fire Department, who were able to take the first place down on Friday. Second place, of course, going to the Beastie Boys. And now we can say third place going the way of Enigma. Well played to everyone who took part, including guys like your team, Babs, Pangolins, and the rest of the players who took part in the group stage. And thank you so much for all of you guys for tuning in throughout this whole tournament. We'll see. Maybe we'll have more RMG stuff in the future, but there'll definitely be more Overwatch to watch in the future, competitive or otherwise. Before we sign off, Babs, where can we find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter at Bob77.
Awesome. Of course, Scars, our wonderful producer today, has been putting in a lot of work for us recently. At Scars_gaming, he says, hoping he got it right. Yes, first time. Scars_gaming on Twitter. That's where you can find him. He also streams at twitch.tv/Scars Gaming. Scars_gaming. Yeah, first time as well. So you guys can go follow him. He's very regular Twitch streamer as well, so you can catch him pretty much anytime. And my name, of course, has been Sun Phoenix at Sun Phoenix on Twitter, SUNPHEONYX. You can follow me there for cold takes on all things everything. And of course, you can follow the Overwatch community on @Overwatch on Twitter, and there you can get access to a whole lot of different stuff and information on all the tournaments, all the matches that are happening, if you would like to get involved. And then obviously also head over to our Discord server, and that's where the action really happens. And you can find that information, the bot's been posting it, and of course on our Twitter. And finally, I have to advertise Pride Cup here, of course, which is the tournament that Kaiser puts on annually at this stage, celebrating, Pride Month with everyone in our community. And it's just a little tournament we put on. If you'd like to get involved in that, head over to our Twitter. If you'd like to cast that as well, that's how Babs got his start on in Pride Cup, but in a different kind of very similar initiative. Please don't hesitate to get involved there. You can get all the info on our Twitter. So guys, that's going to be it, and we'll see you guys for Pride Cup in like 2 weeks time.